Hello everybody, welcome back to Ordinary People, Extraordinary Lives, and I'm here with Gengis. My name's Johnny H, and I'm really pleased to get Gengis on the show because he's got a story I think can really inspire you. He's had a hard life, and for all intents and purposes, he shouldn't be here, but he is, and he's redeemed himself in so many ways. I'm really proud to know him. And yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John. And yeah, I'm Gengis, and I feel very privileged and honoured to be on this show with you. And yeah, it's just, my experience of life was sort of very hard, and I come from a Cypriot family, born in North London, or East London, should I say, and brought up in North London. And I only had a mother figure, and she couldn't speak very well English. I'm the youngest of 5. And yeah, it's just like going to school, I always felt sort of funny at school, and I didn't feel the same. And I felt very sort of shy, and, and I just couldn't sort of connect with people from very young. My first memory was like 5 years old, and it wasn't a good memory, but it is my memories now, and it's only my experience, and I went through life sort of in gangs and trying to fit in here and fit in there, for years. I was chasing, and I was never sort of happy or content within myself, and yeah, by the age of 11, because I didn't like school, I didn't want to go to school, I was put into care. Care order was sort of put on me by social services and social workers, and I went to court, and I was put in a full care order, which meant that I was separated from my family, and I didn't understand because I was sort of very young, and my maturity emotionally never grew up, and I was sort of baffled, but I didn't ask many questions. I just didn't understand why this was happening to me. So I'm in the care system, and I'm in a boarding school up in Grimsby, and I didn't want to be there. And it was a wonderful place. It was a big mansion. They had horses in there, and had all these wonderful things there. But I just didn't want to be there. I wanted to be at home. So I'd run away from Grimsby, and jump on trains and get back to London, where I felt comfortable in that comfort zone, and I was on a care order until I was 18, and my life was sort of chaos upside down, and my education was very, very, very poor, and I saw therapists and psychotherapists very young, and no one could ever give me a message of hope, and I took on to taking drink and drugs, and, that was the lifestyle I led for many years, and consequence of that was that I would end up in prisons, in hospitals, and, I met a woman, and we had children, thinking that would work for me. And I was just baffled because the way I felt, that I never had a father figure, so I didn't know how to be a father, and the journey went on, and we had more children, and I was not emotionally there, which sometimes saddens me now, but the greatest gift for me is I've not had a drink or a drug for over 8 years, and as I said, I picked up very young, and I was taking drugs and alcohol and lying and cheating and thieving. I was an atheist. I didn't believe in anything. And, it's amazing that I'm alive today, and I believe something happened in 2011. I mean, I've got many years of war stories and where I ended up and what happened, and, and it was a painful existence. And, I'd be in prisons, and I'd come out of the prison. I want to change. And all I ever knew was to do the same things over and over again. And that is what I did. I wasn't happy about it. I lied to my missus, my ex-missus now, and I just didn't understand what I was dealing with in life. I had no hobbies. I had no sort of ambitions, and all these things that I saw other people doing. I just couldn't understand why I couldn't do what they were doing. And I was very emotionally sort of down all the time, depressed, anxiety, and all these things. I never knew. I never knew how to be honest. I mean, I thought honesty was finding something, giving it back. And I never knew how to be honest with myself, and And I'm so very grateful today that I'm alive. I've been able to go and do service with the NHS, you know, and these are the places that I would never have dreamed of being. I went back to school, went back to college. I learned how to get on computers. I learned computer courses, and I was on a journey now, and I didn't know how to come out of that way. But I want to tell you this. By the end, so I'm just getting a phone call, but by what I couldn't see, the emotional harm that I was causing towards my family, my children, and all these, because what happened for me was I had a lot of hatred towards all the people around me, authorities, social workers. I mean, things happened to me that I don't really want to say here, but things happened whilst in care and police stations and prisons. Things happened that I was not happy about, but they happened. And it's my reality. And some of the things I wanted to die, you know, I wanted to really commit suicide. And I had, so by the end of all that chaos and madness, you know, and for 10 years I sat in, I'm still in the same place here now, but for 10 years I was in this sitting room, in the next room, and I was trying to work out why am I like this, you know. Every night it would be the same thing over and over again. I'd be drinking and I'd be taking drugs and I'd be letting people in who got that stuff, and it was just a mad sort of existence for me, you know. And over 8 years ago I was in hospital again after many wonderful people there were, and I even sort of fought with the NHS, who are wonderful people actually. And I was in the Whittington Hospital in Archway, actually. It's in North London, and this is my last time in hospital. Consequences of what I was doing. And I didn't wake up one day so I wanted to be this guy, because I knew underneath all that stuff that there was something very special within myself, and I didn't know how to connect to it, because I didn't know what it was, and I was always full of fear, and I get these feelings, and I tried to run away from it. And what I was running away from, I should have been running into. So in 2011, I was in the hospital again, and by this time I was so seriously ill. I wasn't eating, I was spewing up blood, and all these things were happening to me. I was 6 stone in weight, I had a beard, I felt rough, I wanted to die. I lived near Suicide Bridge in Highgate, and I actually thought of jumping off of that bridge, but I thought, no, in my luck, I'm the one that's going to end up surviving that jump. You know, and yeah, so I didn't jump. Actually, I'm here, and there's many occasions where I really believed that, how did I get out of that one? How did I get out of that alive? You know, I had car crashes and rooftop protests and all sort of crazy things, and I'd always get arrested for it. Hence how I ended up in prisons all the time, you know. And so all this time I couldn't see the harms I was causing towards my family, my children, and all that stuff, you know. And so I'm in that hospital, in the bed, 6 stone in weight. And when, as I said, when I got into baths with cushions and pillows because it hurt. That's how bony I become. And the doctor said that I had about 6 months to live if I carried on the way I was going. And this was in 2011. You know, and I just didn't know the way out. I really never knew a way out. And I was sent to a drug and alcohol place. And yeah, I went to this drug and alcohol place. I don't know how I got down there, but I believe in something now. And I don't know what that is, but it's something more powerful than myself, which can be divine intervention, or it could be the universe. Whatever it was, somehow it ended up, it wasn't my plan. And I ended up in a drug and alcohol center, and this guy there sort of carried a message of hope to me. So I'm sort of listening to this guy, and he's similar to me, but he was well and I wasn't. You know, I wanted to die. And I was very emotional. You know, this guy looked very happy. He's a counselor, and he was doing all these wonderful things. And he told me a story about himself. And I never heard nothing like that ever before, you know, because I was always in seedy places and running away from the home, and, you know, not wanting to be at home with the children and the missus and all that stuff. I just didn't understand why. Why wouldn't I want to do that? Any normal person would have. So really, I was insane, you know. And I just really hope, and I really, really hope that I can inspire someone with hope in their hearts, you know, because I didn't know a way out. You know, I'm a miracle to be alive, you know. And as I said, the doctor said I had 6 months to live. So I've gone into this drug and alcohol center place, and this guy shared his story with me, and he didn't say nothing about me. And in my growing up, I always thought that what people were saying was true about me. Like, you're hopeless, you're never going to get nowhere. Look at you, why can't you just do right things? Why can't you go and work like normal people? Well, what it was with me was I didn't feel normal. I felt abnormal. And it made a lot of sense after listening to that guy, and he told me he would help me, and he did actually help me. He went out of his way to help me, you know, and he told me his story, and I was in this room with him. It seemed like an hour, could have been more, I don't know, I can't remember, but it seemed a long time. I was sitting there, I didn't say a word, and I listened for once in my life. And he wasn't there judging me or putting me down. He talked about himself and how he was and what he went through in his life, and he sounded just like me, actually worse than what I was like. And he told me he would help me, and that's exactly what he did. He helped me. He got me to a detox and a rehab, and I've come out of the rehab, and they told me I'll never need to drink or use drugs again. And that's been my experience now for nearly 8.5 years. But there was more of a journey to go on after that, coming out there. It wasn't just got the rehab, stopped drinking and drugging. It was about me now looking at life and dealing with life now, because I never dealt with life on life's terms. So yeah, after a few months in recovery, I was doing these meetings and going here and going there. And I was still learning. I couldn't really read and write very well, and I didn't really understand about computers. I've done computer courses. I've done a lot of courses, and I went out and done some service with the NHS for 3 years, and I was able to start giving back as well. And this is what was suggested I should do. I mean, I had someone guiding me on this path, you know, and so I went and done like 3 years voluntary work, and I was given awards and all that stuff. I was next to a guy who gave me my award, who I'd done a lot of work with, who had an OBE, you know, and I just couldn't believe how I ended up here from where I was for nearly over 38 or 39 years, drinking and drugging, doing things that I didn't really want to do, but I'd done it anyway. And somehow it was like a dream, like a miracle for me to be able to be in a place that I didn't even understand why I was here. So more was getting revealed to me on this journey in life, you know. And so them years really wasn't really wasted, because now it's my experience, and hopefully someone can learn from my own mistakes. And I needed to ask for help. I didn't know about asking for help, you know, and I really believe one day I would sort my life out. So I went and done all this stuff with the NHS, and I ended up in the House of Commons, I ended up in City Hall, and I was able to be useful to others that wanted to know about my story and what happened and what's your plans and all these things. I didn't know what my plan was. All I knew was I would pick up one day at a time and take drugs and drink and lie and cheat and thief. And I haven't stolen one thing. I haven't been arrested in over eight since I've been off the drink and drugs, you know. And that is a miracle, because I had the police on my door constantly, you know, constantly arresting me. And today I don't fight with them no more. I know now that it's not them, it was always me. I didn't think they liked me. I didn't think my family liked me. And it was just the way it was. I couldn't sort of communicate. People just didn't understand me. I didn't understand who I was, and I was a lost soul, you know. And so I started doing all these recovery things, and I've done up to now 7 different charities. I've done a lot of charity work, and I was able to give back to society, which I believe that I was taking. I was always a taker, and today I'm not a taker. I don't need nothing from no one. As I said, I haven't stolen. I haven't cheated on any women. I've been nice to all women that I've met on my journey, you know, and actually being able to go back to my children and go on holiday with my children and my ex-missus now, you know. And it's wonderful to give back and to be a father today. Instead of running away from my children, I can run to them. They can talk to me. They ring me. They phone me. My ex-missus speaks to me. She lets me in the house. And actually, that same missus tried to murder me on 2 occasions, I must say, but I don't blame her now. But yeah, so I went through a journey, you know, of sort of recovery, and I was doing these meetings, and I was staying connected and voluntary work, and all these things were starting to fill my soul with usefulness and, you know, selflessness, you know. And it wasn't all about me no more, and it's what I can give to the stream of life. And I used to look at doctors and all these people, but I've spoken to many junior doctors at university in Elephant and Castle, where I was doing a talk, and there was many junior doctors there, and they was asking questions, and they had these sheets afterwards which they had to sign and sort of make comments and that. And yeah, it was wonderful that they were asking questions and say, how would you deal with this and that, and what would you have done then? And I was saying to them, the only thing is some people just need someone to listen to them and someone to just be kind. And because me personally, I was very judgmental when I was to put people down. I thought I'm better than this one, I'm better than that one, and I looked up to this person and that. We're all one, you know, we're all one. And right now, I mean, maybe I'm good. I'm good at certain things in life today, but I never thought that I'll be where I am today. And gratitude for me is to be grateful for the little things in life. I thought it was about having the money, the women, the cars. I had all that stuff, and it was never fulfilling. You know, it always ended in disasters. Where today I don't need to chase anything. I'm content. I'm happy. I don't have much, but I've got more than a lot of people around the world have. You know, I mean, I've got a home. You know, I've got food. I've got water to drink. I can have a bath. I can shave. I've got all these. I've got clothes to wear, and I'm more content than I ever have been in my whole existence in life. You know, the journey for me is to go inwards, and you know, it doesn't matter how much money I ever had, I was never happy. No matter how much women I went with or I had girlfriends and that, I was never happy. I was never content. And today I'm fully content and happy, and I'm joyous, you know. And I've been to a lot of places. I'm actually, as I said, I've been to prison. And the consequence of me getting this recovery and staying clean and sober, I was able to go to prisons, many prisons in the London area and sometimes out, and be of support to the guys in there and tell them about my story, how what happened to me, and hopefully give them hope, you know, because if I help one person in there say, well, that guy sounds a bit like me, and if he's doing this and that, whatever he's doing, I want to know what it's about. And I've actually met a few of them people out of prisons, and they're doing really well as well. A lot of them doing like recovery jobs and helping other people with their own experience. So really, doesn't matter what you got and what you haven't got. The whole journey of life is to be loving and kind, not only to others and to ourselves as well. And I mean, for instance, I could make something out of nothing. You know, it's all in my thinking. You know, I could think that person doesn't like me. It really doesn't matter if anyone likes me or not. As long as I know I'm not a bad fella today, I don't live in the past. I'm not living in the future. So for me, the most important moment I've got is right now. This is the most important time of my life, right this moment. And no matter what's going on outside and the virus and all these things are going on, you know, there's so much more to be done at home. I mean, I've started to paint, I've started to learn more about computers and Zooms and all these things. I'm learning more, you know, and I mean, a lot of people are going to pass away with this virus thing. And, you know, just to pick up the phone and phone someone and start thinking of ourselves that, oh, the whole world's going to end now. Maybe there's something good's going to come out of this, and more people are going to get together, and humanity and all these things that people really do need support. I mean, I went out and done stuff with homeless people, you know, and I mean, one time I'm walking down the street and something came to me to go and speak to this guy who was sitting outside saying he was begging. And I remember myself as him. So something happened in that moment where I went to this guy and I was dressed in a suit and tie. And I sat down next to this guy, and it's not because I'm such a great person. No, it's not. It's because I've got empathy and compassion. And I knelt down next to this guy and started speaking to him, and he was looking at me weirdly at first. But after talking to him, I said to him, I know exactly how you feel. You know, and this guy looked at me and he started to listen. I could actually feel him listening, and he was looking, and his eyes started to glow, you know. And I was just talking to him in a general way. I go, I've just been where you've been, and there is a way out for you as well. And I don't know where all this was coming from, just my experience. You know, 8 months later, I see that same guy. I didn't know who he was at that time, but I see him again, and he came up to me and he said, I listened to what you said to me. And what I did say to him is, go and ask for help, get the help, you know. And he said he listened to what I said to him, and he got emotional, and, you know, he was saying he listened to me, and he looked well. I couldn't recognize him because he looked so clean and shaven and smart clothes. He goes, look, I've got a new watch, new trainers and new jeans. And he was on his road as well to recovery, you know. And it's wonderful to be able to be maybe a push or a cog in his recovery and hope for him, you know. But I've done that on many different occasions as well, and I'm just a vessel. And if I can carry that message to anybody, I'll do it for free. I don't want payment for it. I don't need nothing for that, because I'm alive today. As I said, I had 6 months to live in 2011, and today I don't want to die no more. I want to be supportive and helpful to others, and no matter who you are, what you think, or how much you got, or what you haven't got, I found in giving is such a rewarding thing. And the more you give, something happens to us. I mean, I had a reading. It says, just for today, don't be afraid to enjoy what is beautiful, and believe as you give to the world will give to you. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Gengis. Very truly inspiring story. And knowing you, I'm lucky enough to know you. You've been through that story. If it was put into more depth, we would see how deep you went. You went right to the bottom, and now you've resurfaced and you help so many people. You're truly an inspiration. You talked about your childhood there, and at 11 years old, you went off to this boarding school. That must have been really confusing for you as a young child. How did you deal with that?
Well, as I said, I used to just run away. Didn't know where else to go. I used to run away and go back to the guys I was sort of knocking about with, and I was just confused. I didn't know what to do. I just didn't want to be there, and I didn't want to be here. Or I didn't want to be really anywhere, but I didn't know where to go, so I'd end up in the same zone with the same guys doing the same things.
And can you remember the first time? Because the real central struggle was alcohol and drugs. And can you remember the first time you picked up? And what do you remember that occasion? What happened?
I actually do remember what happened when I was 8 years old. I was up in Alexandra Palace, and it was a fun fair there, and I was working on one of the stalls, and one of the guys there who owned the stall I was on, he gave me a can of drink. I can't remember what it was, and that's the first time I experienced alcohol. And I went on to take weed and all that as well at the same time. And yeah, it was just from that day onwards, I was always trying to get money to get more drink and drugs. You know, I didn't like the taste of the drink. I was sick and I was giddy and I felt horrible. I didn't think I'll ever do that again, but I went on to smoke weed and all that. But at the end, I was doing hard drugs as well. You know, anything would have done me. And I went to any lengths to get the money to do that stuff. You know, although I lied and cheated and thieved, and it wasn't a nice place, but I needed that. I was physically addicted to it now. You know, and I didn't know what it meant to be addicted to things, and I was actually addicted. My first addiction was thinking. You know, that's my first addiction, because I thought too much.
And alcohol and drugs kind of are a solution to that, as we both know, for a time.
Yeah.
And
it worked.
It worked. There were some good times, though. I remember you tell us a little bit about when it worked for you.
Oh, it worked for a little while, but in hindsight, looking back today, it was just, it seemed like it was working. It gave me that joy and that thing to fit in, but the joy and the fitting in started to fade away. I wasn't getting so much joy and fitting in, because I didn't want to fit in anywhere anymore, because I didn't fit in anywhere. If you were taking drink and drugs, I could fit in, but then I wanted to be on my own, and my mechanism of dealing was that to just be away from everyone. I didn't want to be near no one, not even my children. Didn't want them around me. Didn't want the missus looking at me. Felt embarrassed. You know. And
where would you hide out?
Well, I had my flat, and I'd have my own room in there, and I'd be isolating for mainly. I didn't know what day it was, how old I was parties. My parties, there were no parties. I thought I was partying every day, but I wasn't. It was hell. It was hell on earth.
Did you ever think you'd get out?
Well, the medical people couldn't help me. I saw therapists, counselors, psychotherapists. Hospitals and prison. None of that stuff could have helped me. The vicars, the priest, the imam, whoever it was, couldn't have helped me. You know, and I swore to my mother one day, when I sort this out, and I didn't understand how to sort it out. I didn't know how to stop.
Not only for you, it sounds exhausting just for you, but
Yeah.
addiction, it kind of other people suffer as well. Can you tell me a little bit about that? How did did it exhaust those around you as well?
Well, I never spoke to my sister for about 15 years, and you know, my mother, I used to always run away from her. They was always asking about me, but I was too toxic for them, even, you know. And although they meant well for me, I just didn't want to. I couldn't cope being around them because they'd tell me to stop, and you're hopeless, and you're this and you're that, and why can't you sort your life out? And I just didn't know how to do that. I couldn't do it. I tried, you know. I mean, I've done work. I was a car dealer, and I was a waste disposal person as well with a license and all that. And I lost my license as well on top of that. So them things just went out the window, and depression and anxiety kicked in, and it was a roller coaster experience for me, where it ended up in the gut. I mean, I could be in my home, but still feel like I'm in prison in my own mind. And to escape that, I needed a drink and a drug. And I escaped that. I mean, I never put no needles in my arm. I thought I was better than them people to do that. But it doesn't matter that I didn't put no needle in my arm, you know, because no matter what I must would have put a needle in my arm if I had the courage to do that. I didn't like the sight of needles, but I mean, yeah, I couldn't see the harms I was causing to my family, and it was always a consequence of my thinking and believed the lie that was in my mind that told me that they didn't really like me. They're just starting on me because I'm the black sheep of the family, and it's not like that today. You know, the main thing today is I've got a relationship with all my family. I talk to my sister regularly, you know, and I actually went to Turkey with my sister, and I'm not from Turkey. I was born in London. My mother's Cypriot Turkish, but yeah, my mother passed away a few years back, and I was able to be sober and clean and bury her with dignity and respect. And I made amends to my mother, you know, and it was a wonderful experience to be able to feed your own mother, you know. And the person I thought didn't like me, she always liked me. She loved me, you know, and she always used to say that, but she told me I was the devil as well,
Mm-hmm.
which I believe, and I could understand that today. And I just thought she didn't like me, and it was just my thinking again. As I said, my first illness or problem was my thinking. I had it wrong. I had everything wrong in life.
And you're talking about how during this period where everyone's locked down, you had your own personal lockdown for many years. Um,
Mm.
you talk about being in and out of institutions. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, well, I was in like lock-up units from the age of like 13 and
I
detention.
remember you telling me you've been to nearly every prison in the UK.
I have. I've been to most. I've been to Belmarsh. I've been to Brixton, Wandsworth, Scrubs, Pentonville. I've been to a lot of other prisons as well.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in prison, I just couldn't behave myself in there either. So I was sent to many, many different prisons. And as I said, I had problems with authority figures and being told what to do.
Mm.
So I sort of fought with everything. Fought with authorities and fought with probation and solicitors and judges and swore at them.
Knowing what you know now, if you could have gone back to that young Gengis and you could
Yeah,
sit him down and tell him, speak to him, what would you say?
I love you. You're not a bad fella.
Yeah, interesting. And obviously you've turned your life around now, but you don't. From what you're telling me, a lot of your getting well in mind, body, and spirit has been helping others. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, I had a fella help me, and sort of, how can I explain him? Someone who knew what it was talking about, someone who looked well, someone who looked happy, you know, and someone who looked content, who had a similar experience to me in life and wanted to help me on my journey. And what he told me was that in helping me, it would help him, you know, and couldn't see what he meant by that. And I went along with it, and he was guiding me like a guru, shall I say, but he's not, he don't say that, he wouldn't say that. It's just me saying that. But I mean, he was a very loving and kind, considerate, compassionate guy, and I thought he fancied me at first, but it definitely wasn't that. So yeah, so this guy, I asked him to help me, and he said he would help me, and he just suggested certain things I should be doing, and if I didn't, I would get what he's got. And I believe that I'm a walking messenger, just like he is. I didn't know that he was just like someone that cared about people, who didn't want nothing, never asked me for anything, but just do these things. And I was starting to listen to him, you know. I've been to so many different spiritual places. I'm not a religious person, and I believe in the universe, and we're all one, and love and kindness to everyone, and stop judging people and thinking I'm better than anyone else. I mean, I know that really of myself, I am nothing, you know, and that is why I need communication and understanding and listening and connection and all these wonderful things I never knew how to do. I couldn't cope. I couldn't sit still. I couldn't sit still and talk to someone for this period of time. You know?
Cool. Yeah, very. Okay, we're going to sort of wrap things up a little bit now. So a question I have for you, if you could have a giant billboard anywhere with anything on it to put out a message out to billions, what would it say and why? It could be a few words or a paragraph. It could be a quote. It could be your own words. But if you could put that message out to everybody, what would that message be?
I want to sound so profound now, and no, I think it would be like love and unity, kindness, understanding, forgiveness. And I want to say this before we go further, that I had a lot of hatred towards my father, you know, and he passed away maybe 19 years ago. And I actually realized that maybe he was not well, you know, and I actually forgave him, which freed me from sort of resentment or anger towards him, because I didn't know how he lived his life. Maybe he was suffering as well. So I was able to go and forgive him at his graveside. And yeah, I think forgiveness would be on there as well, on a billboard, and unity together, and help each other instead of judging and fighting. I mean, we've only got a little amount of time on this planet physically, you know, so why not do something good? I mean, all that energy hating on someone or belittling someone else just to make yourself feel better. Well, I don't need to belittle anyone, because we're all one anyway. We all bleed the same.
No, I couldn't agree more, especially in this period right now where everyone's on lockdown. There has to be this almost a forced self-reflection. You can see that chasing after money, fame, and whatever else, where does it bring you at the end of it all? When something like this, you can see how fragile the world, the so-called modern world is, and you also see what's actually important. I'm beginning to see setting up this channel is all about seeing what's important, putting out good. I think people need to hear good messages. People need to be inspired. People need to hear that it's not all just about the money. It's not all about being the 1%. It's not all about being the elite. It's not all about being better than somebody else. We're humans. We're human beings. That's what unites us. We all have a heart. We all have a soul. And I don't know where I heard the quote, but I think it was Nelson Mandela who said, "You can imprison the man, but you cannot imprison his soul."
Yeah.
And we're living in a time where I think we need to step up our spiritual game a little bit and unite as best we can, because it's now or never, really. Next question I have is, what advice would you give to a college student or a school student about to enter the real world? What advice would you give them, and what advice do you think they should ignore?
I think just have that hope in your heart that if you do the next right thing, the next right thing will happen. You know, and if you're not feeling some sort of connection, you know, like sometimes we listen and we believe in something that's said, but my spirit will never lie to me. My mind can lie to me, but my spirit, my soul, my instincts never lie to me. That feeling, that gut feeling is usually the truth. But my mind won't tell me that. So if you're going into a situation and your conscience is telling you no, but your mind is telling you, yeah, it sounds right. That sounds like a good idea, but maybe it isn't, and stop and think about that and pause.
And you just spoke of the word truth. What does truth mean to you? And for somebody who, for all intents and purposes, you said it, that you kind of lied and cheated and you only knew how to kind of like do things the wrong way. How have you found the truth? And what does the truth mean to you?
Well, the truth is really being true with myself, and I mean, I haven't had a perfect journey whilst being clean and sober and in recovery, and my life has changed dramatically 108 degrees around, and to understand about the mind, it's hard to sort of explain it, but I mean, I get all these thoughts that come in my mind still today, but I know what ones to let go. I haven't been letting go of thoughts that come in my mind, negative thinking, and I can, if I don't let go of that thinking, I can bite into it and start to believe it, and from a mushroom, it just grows into a mountain. So if I just give it power, it grows. So whatever I'm giving power to, it grows. So if I'm giving power to love and kindness and the trees and the universe and the stars and the moon and the sky, for instance, or whatever is beautiful out there, and that grows as well, and it gives my spirit some sort of feeling of goodness, because there is a lot of goodness out there. There's a lot. I mean, with the NHS, my niece is a nurse, and
Wow.
what a wonderful. I never thought the amount of times they helped me, and that is why I went and done service back with them. I actually went to one hospital that I caused a lot of trouble at, and I went up to reception, and the woman was sitting there, and I told them I was dressed in a suit and tie again. I was doing a lot of talks at that time when I was working with the NHS, and I said my name to this lady. I said to her, I've come here to sort of say my sorries and all that stuff and how my behaviours, and she said, I remember the name, I can't remember you. And I explained to her what happened, and she was sat there with her mouth open, amazed to see a different person there. I mean, yeah, because I know that I have changed, and people do tell me that. I mean, I have changed a lot, put weight on, and I've become a better human being. I'm better for society, and it is about change for me. And if I don't change and start believing in my thinking, that same thinking will have me maybe in the same place I was over 8 years ago. So yeah, thinking is the number one thing I've got to watch out for.
Okay. Really interesting. Do you know, again, as I said, in this time, we've kind of seen I wouldn't say all jobs are superfluous and not needed, but the essential jobs have really come to the fore. And they're the simple jobs, the blue collar jobs, going to be a bus driver, a train, the people who work at the train station, the NHS for sure. And hopefully, I'm looking to speak to somebody in the NHS on this channel and give them to hear their story as well, because they are heroes. They are the salt of the earth, and yeah, I think we're beginning to see what's important. 2020 vision, as they say. So to wrap things up, I'm going to ask you 4 questions, and let's see where it goes. What are you most proud of in your life right now, Gengis?
I'm really proud of the NHS. Really has come to light with what's going on, and they're putting their life at risk. That is selflessness. I'm really proud of them. I really am. And I'm so grateful that I had the time and the patience and tolerance to go and do service with them. And I've met a lot of wonderful people that do it, and they mean it. They actually really want to help people. And I was out with helping the homeless with them and getting them housed and alcoholics and streetwalkers and all these sort of people, and I was able to go and be sort of with these people and give them hope, you know. So the NHS, I'm proud of nurses, I'm proud of all the stuff that, all the wonderful things people do, and we've all got it, we've all got that, we've all got kindness within us. And I'm proud of me for being able to be there for my mother. You know, she was a wonderful woman. She never smoked, took drugs or anything. So how is that ended up the way I was? I just don't know that one, you know. But I know one thing, I'm proud I was clean, and I buried her with dignity and respect that she deserved. You know, and I loved her to the end. You know, that's not many years ago. She's passed 3 years ago. And she was proud of her son. She got her son at the end of all that, you know, so, which in her eyes, when I used to speak to her and tell her how much I loved her and sorries and all that, you could see her eyes were glowing and a smile on her face. I've still got pictures of that.
That's really nice to hear. Beautiful, actually. What are you most excited about in your life right now?
And my daughter, she's at university, and I just keep pushing her. She wants to be psychologist, you know, and she's doing really so well. And I just keep pushing her and telling her, you are good enough, you can do this, and I've got faith in you. And you know, she's really a shining example. And I've got a son who I connect with. He's such a wonderful person and a human being, you know, and he won't have to go through what I went through, because there could be an intervention, you know, and I never had no interventions. If I did, I couldn't hear them. But even my kids today tell me that they're proud of their dad. You know, they don't speak down at me, they speak with respect to me, just like I do them. And our children need love as well. I mean, they are our future, you know, and yeah, I'm proud of my children. I'm proud I lived. You know, my mother didn't bury me. I was able to bury my mother, and I lived to see that day when she passed at 93 years old, you know. And I've got a wonderful relationship with all my family members. And they come to me for advice sometimes, you know, and it's good because I don't give out negative energy to people. I don't swear. I don't need to swear. I used to swear at everyone. I don't swear no more. I don't need to, you know, and it doesn't suit me no more. It's about change, and I'm proud of the change, and I love the people that help me, and I actually do now go and help people if they want me to help. I don't push on anyone. I just say what I do, and that's me. As I did say, with the guidance and support, the universe, I mean, the whole world belongs to us. You know, it don't belong to anyone, it belongs to everyone. The whole world belongs to everyone. You know?
That's, again, wise words. And yeah, wise, deep, beautiful words, Gengis. Lastly, what are you most grateful for?
You know, I'm grateful to people. I'm grateful to be alive. That's the most important thing. I'm grateful to people that guided me to find a new way to live. You know, I'm grateful because I can be useful today. I'm grateful I don't believe the lie no more. You know, and I've got so much to be grateful for. I'm grateful to have water, as I said earlier. I'm grateful that I've got arms and legs and eyes and a computer. Just the little things in life mean so much, really. And I don't have a big flash car. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have none of these things outside, which I thought were the things that would make me feel better, you know. And I thought one day, if I have that woman, or if I have that house and I have that car, that I'm going to be fine. If I had that much amount of money, I'm going to be fine. And really, I was blinded by greed or lust or whatever it was. I was blinded by that, the illusion that I'm going to be all right when I get that. And when I'd get that, it wouldn't be the same. I would still not be happy. So I'm grateful to know that, because I never knew that before. You know, so it's about letting go of all that stuff and just be content and happy within oneself. And I can sit in my own home, I can cook, I can do things around the house, I can go to the shops, masked up, and taking guidance and listening to what the government or the news is saying to us to do. You know, I mean, there's so much theories about now, and it's just bringing terror and fear and everything into people. And for me, I really don't fear anything. You know, I'm doing so much more now than I ever have done at home. You know, and I don't get bored, and I can listen to music. I've got a guitar here. I'm learning how to play the guitar, so you might hear Bob Dylan here sing.
Okay, well, Gengis, I really want to say thank you so much for coming on today. I've learned a lot. I hope other people can learn a lot and be inspired by, a really inspirational story. This is called Ordinary People, Extraordinary Lives, and to for most people, the reason why I set up this channel is many ordinary people. Well, the word, first of all, extraordinary, has the word ordinary in it, and I believe everybody has extraordinary inside of them. But it's even more so when they've managed to turn their lives around. And very much in your case, you've actually turned it around, and then you've helped others turn their life around. And I want to just personally give you huge credit for helping me last year, where I was at a turning point. I'd hit a rock bottom. I had nowhere to turn, and you helped me, and you helped me for without any. You didn't ask me for money. You didn't ask me for anything, and I took up a lot of your time. I took up a lot of your energy, but you were there, and you were always there. You were always picked up the phone. You were a true friend, a true mentor in many ways, and you got me on that road to recovery. And you know, there's still improvements to be made, but I want to thank you personally for that. And just, you know, to finish things off, I would like you, Gengis, you've got a minute to speak to the world. I want you to imagine that you are beamed onto every television set in the world, and everybody is going to get a chance to hear you. You've got a minute to give your message. Are you ready?
Oh, don't. You make me go shy now.
Here we go. 1 minute. Go.
I just want to say that everyone is beautiful and everyone is genius, you know, and if one message I can share to you now is to be loving and kind to everyone and to yourselves, you know, because you are special. And we're all special people, and some of us fall short here or there, but we're not bad people, you know. And yeah, I just want to say I love you all, and I mean that from my heart.
Thank you, Gengis. And actually, quite as a side note, you know, when you fast text your name, Gengis becomes genius. I don't know if you know that. That's why I sent you your name earlier, and it came up as genius.
Genius. We're all genius.
I wasn't trying to be smart. But thanks for coming on today. God bless you. Good luck in all you do. And what I'll do, if Gengis wants me to, I'm going to put his links in the description. Facebook. He's got an amazing life. He's an amazing guy. I'm proud to know him. And thanks for coming on today. Thanks, Gengis.
Thank you, John. I'm a little bit crazy sometimes as well, but that's okay as well.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gengis.
Thank you, John.